Hello students, I hope all of you are safe and fine. I am happy that some of you have submitted your assignments and the rest of you should submit your assignments soon. Okay students, let's start the class. In today's class, we are going to learn the continuation of the lesson Atomic Structure. Before we move into today's class, let's do a small recap of the last session. In the last session, we saw that Acharya Kanath said matter is made up of tiny particles called paramanu. Then, the Greek philosophers Democritus and the Lysippus thought that by dividing a particle, we could ultimately get a particle that could not be divided further. They named it as atomos. In Greek, atomos means indivisible. Then, in 19th century, Dalton proposed an atomic theory. There are 6 postulates in Dalton's atomic theory. I hope you all remember all these postulates. Okay, now let's move on to today's class. In today's class, we are going to see subatomic particles, the electron, the discovery of electron, characteristics of cathode rays, relative charge and mass. Let's start learning. According to Acharya Kanath, the Greek philosophers and John Dalton, the atom is an indivisible entity. Later, the scientists discovered that atoms are divisible and they contain subatomic particles. The subatomic particles are the particles those are found inside an atom. They are proton, neutron and electron. Here, proton has positive charge, neutron is neutral and electron has negative charge. Now we are going to see electrons in detail. Electrons are discovered by J.J. Thomson. He was born on December 18, 1856 in Manchester. In 1894, he began his research in cathode rays. He became a Cavendish Professor of Experimental Physics, Cambridge and Royal Institution, London in 1884. At the age of 41, Thomson proposed his explanation of discovering the electron. Thomson won the 1906 Nobel Prize in Physics. He died on 30th August 1942. Now let's see the discovery of electron. J.J. Thomson discovered electron by cathode ray experiment. For this experiment, he used an apparatus which looked like this. This apparatus is called as cathode ray tube or discharge tube. Let's see the parts of discharge tube. It has a sealed glass tube which is filled with hydrogen gas and it has 2 electrodes inside. Those are connected with the battery. This is the symbolic representation of a battery. We all know battery has 2 terminals, right? One is the positive terminal and the other one is the negative terminal. Here in this symbolic representation, the small line is a negative terminal and the electrode connected to this end is known as cathode. And the large line is a positive terminal and the electrode connected to this is known as anode. Apart from this, there is a small vacuum pump attached to this tube which is used to reduce the pressure and suck out the unwanted gases and dust. Now let's see the purpose of the discharge tube in this experiment. Basically, gases are bad conductors of electricity. Now what are bad conductors? Yes, the substances that do not conduct electricity easily are called as bad conductors. For example, wood, plastics are the bad conductors of electricity. But here, gases can become a good conductors of electricity. How? Let's see. The pressure of the gas should be very low, say 10 millimeter of mercury, and the voltage applied should be very high, say 10,000 volts. Only under these conditions, the gases can become a good conductors. Now these conditions can be achieved in a discharge tube. I hope now you understood the purpose of discharge tube in this experiment. Now we'll see the working of the discharge tube. When the voltage applied through a battery is 10,000 volts, which is very high, and the pressure is maintained very low, with the help of the vacuum pump, Thomson observed that the invisible ray started to flow from cathode. Now this is an invisible ray, isn't it? Then how Thomson observed it? Yes. When this ray hit the other end of the tube, which is exactly opposite to the cathode, started to glow. This phenomenon is known as fluorescence. Since these rays are originated from cathode, they are named as cathode rays. Now we are moving on to the characteristics of cathode rays. There are 4 characteristics. We'll learn it one by one. We are going to learn the first postulate with an activity. First characteristics with an activity. Now take a flashlight and any one object. Here I am taking a plastic ball. Go near the wall or a screen. Keep the flashlight straight opposite to the ball as you see in the picture. Now switch on the flashlight and you will observe a shadow on the wall or a screen which is in a straight line with the flashlight and a ball. Here the ball, the flashlight and the shadow will be in straight line. So can we say that light travels in a straight line? Yes students, light travels in a straight line. Thomson also did the same. Let's see. What he did was, he kept an object on the path of the cathode ray and he observed that the shadow of the object appeared exactly opposite to the cathode ray. So here he said that cathode rays travel in a straight line like the light does. So the first property of cathode ray is they originate at the cathode and travels in a straight line. Okay, now we are moving on to the next property. Imagine pedaling a bicycle. How will we pedal a bicycle? Yes, we have to apply our body mass or weight on the pedal, right, in order to make the bicycle move. Likewise, Thomson kept a light paddle wheel in between the cathode and the anode on the path of a cathode rays. Guess what happened? Yes, the paddle wheel starts rotating. So these rays should have some mass, right? If it has a mass, it should be a particle of matter. So here is the second characteristic. Cathode rays are a stream of particles, which means it is a flow of particles. The particles are flowing from cathode to anode continuously. Now let's see the third property. I hope you all would have played with magnets, right? We know that opposite poles attract each other and same poles repel each other, right? Here Thomson kept a positive and a negatively charged electric plate Thomson kept a positive and a negatively charged electric plate near the discharge tube, and he observed that the cathode rays are deflected towards the positively charged electric plate. As we all know, unlike charges attract each other. So the third property is the cathode rays are negatively charged. That is why they are attracted by the positive charge. Now we have come to the final characteristic of a cathode ray. Thomson tried this experiment with hydrogen gas. Then he kept on changing the gases the materials of the electrodes and the kind of glass too. But he observed that the particles of the cathode rays are the same. So, here is the fourth characteristics. The particle constituting cathode ray are all alike. They do not change with the gas, the electrodes and the kind of a glass used for making the tube. Okay. So these are the four characteristics of a cathode ray. Finally, J.J. Thomson concluded by saying, the particle constituting cathode rays are universal constituent of all atoms, which means these particles will be seen in each and every atom of all elements. Okay? You would have wondered why she keeps on talking about cathode rays, but the heading is a discovery of electron, right? Here is the answer for that. These particles which constitute the cathode rays are named as electrons in 1897. I hope you all understood the characteristics of a cathode ray and the discovery of electron. Now, this is the last topic for today's class, relative charge and mass. The charge on an electron is taken as unit of negative. So, an electron is said to have a charge of -1 unit. The mass of electron is about 1 by 1840th of an hydrogen atom. So, it is treated as negligible. That's all for today's class. Let's do a quick summary. The subatomic particles are present in an atom. The subatomic particles are proton, neutron and electron. The electrons are discovered by J.J. Thomson. Now these are the characteristics of a cathode rays. They originate at cathode and travels in a straight line. Next is cathode rays are a stream of particles. The third one is the particles of the cathode rays are negatively charged. And the last one is the particles constituting cathode rays are all alike. They do not change with the gas, the electrode and the kind of glass used for making the tube. The charge of an electron is -1 unit. The mass of an electron is 1 by 1840th of an hydrogen atom. Now we have come to the assignment questions. The assignment questions are, the first question is cathode rays travel in a straight line. Explain. Name the subatomic particles. Who discovered an electron? What is the mass of electron when compared to an hydrogen atom? The answers for these questions are given in this video. Kindly note the answers down in your chemistry notebook. Thank you, students.